And Toshin Nun Beis was exactly the same kviyas that we have now. It was a Shnasa Ibor, and it was exactly the same, Seder of the days on the Shabbos that we have now. But Toshin Nun Aleph was not that way. However, and so therefore, the rabbi is talking here in this sikha already about Rosh Chodesh Nisan, because the sikha was actually said on Rosh Chodesh Nisan. So where's this after Rosh Chodesh or the base? We're talking here, not yet in this sikha, but there's a very interesting coming together of inyanim by way of Ashgacha Proteus, that the Rebbe speaks most of the sikha about the fact that on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, which comes out on Shabbat, then you take out 3 Sifrei Torah. You take out one to read the parsha Shavua, one to read Rosh Chodesh, and one to read parsha HaChodesh, which is a special parsha for Rosh Chodesh Nisan. So the Rebbe said if it occurs Rosh Chodesh Nisan on Shabbos, then we have that very rare. Oh, I'm sorry. Then we have that very rare, is that better? Situation where we take out 3 Sifrei Torah. Now it so happens that this Rosh Chodesh Nisan, which is coming up, is going to be on Shabbos. So there are going to be 3 Sifrei Torah taken out. So a whole major feature of this sikha from the Rebbe, which was said on a year, was not usually that way. It just comes out that this year it is going to be that way. So we do have something, even though the sikha was said further ahead in time, there's a certain basic similarity to Rosh Chodesh Nisan, which comes out on Shabbos. So that's what he begins with the Rebbe, B'shon Hazu, meaning Toshin Nun Aleph, Shechola B'Rosh Chodesh Nisan, B'Shabbos, slicha, my classes didn't quite pick up properly, B'Shabbos Zu, in this Shabbos, Shechola B'Rosh Chodesh Nisan, which so happens that it comes out on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, Moitziyim Shleisha Sifrei Torah, take out 3 Sforim, Ve'echod Keren Parsha Shavua, B'Sheni, Oidos Rosh Chodesh, we read about Rosh Chodesh, V'Shlishi is Oidos Tzivoi Hashem, HaChodesh Ozer Lochem, Rosh Chodashim, in bracket Parsha HaChodesh. That's got to do with Parsha HaChodesh. Those are the 3 inyanim that we read in 3 separate Sforim. So the Rebbe observes at considerable length, and he brings a lot of different makoides in the Mariv Makoimus in the footnotes for this whole inyan. He said, it's a very special unusuality, or what you might call a new thing. Shekain b'derech klal, by Yidden, afil on Shabbos, moitim sefer Torah, even on a special day, we take out only 1 sefer Torah. B'chagim, or b'Shabbos shechal b'Rosh Chodesh, on the Yom Tovim, or on a Shabbos which comes out on Rosh Chodesh, then where we might see him Shnei Sifrei Torah, take out 2 Sifrei Torah. However, he said, Poyomim Boidedays, on very rare occasions, Moitzim Shleisha Sifrei Torah. On rare, Boidedas means like individual or separated times, we take out 3 Sifrei Torah. B'simchas Torah b'chol shana v'shana. Every year on Simchas Torah, we take out 3 Sifrei Torah. In one we read the end of the Torah, Parsha Zeisa Brocha. In the second Sefer Torah we read Bereshis Boro, because we want to start the Torah Mechadash. And then in the third Sefer Torah we read the Maftir. Yeah, so every single Torah Kavua, we take out 3 Sifrei Torah. However, he says, there are Ubishonim Miyuchodet, but in certain special and unusual years, Kasher Rosh Chodesh Nisan, or Teves, or Odo, Chal, B'Shabbat, Azai Moitzim Shloisa Sefei Torah, Pam Noisevet. Apart from Simchas Torah, we take out 3 Sifrei Torah again. This is based on a Gemara Masechta Megillah, but the Gemara has a long discussion, and there are differing opinions how we keep Shabbos Parsha Shkolim, the first of the 4 main parshas. There's a difference of opinion amongst the Tanoim as to what we actually read on Parsha Shkolim, and that would affect what is the Sefer, the Haftorah, and so on. And there's a big discussion as to how do we actually keep Parsha Shkolim. And Behemshel to that, in order to support one of the opinions there, brings a statement of Rabbi Yitzchok Nafche. So Rabbi Yitzchok Nafche, he was also a Tana, very early, and he's buried in Meron right as you enter, going in towards Rashbi's kever. On the right, as you go through the main gate, then there's a special kever there, and that's Rabbi Yitzchok Nafche. Yeah, and the word Nafche means in Aramaic means a smithy. Somebody that's from the word Nofeach. They used to have bellows to blow their fire to keep melting the iron and the steel and so on. And he was called a smithy, Rabbi Yitzchok Nafche. So he says over there. He talks about Rosh Chodesh Teves. He talks about Rosh Chodesh Teves, that Rosh Chodesh Teves always comes out at the end of Hanukkah, but still in Hanukkah. So what about if Rosh Chodesh Teves falls out on Shabbos? Well, it can. A lot of the Rosh Chodesh can't fall on Shabbos anyway, but Rosh Chodesh Teves can fall on Shabbos. So he said that then you have to take out 3 Sifrei Torah, and he mentions as an unusual event. And you read the first one, Parsha Shavua, whatever it is, and then you read the second one, Rosh Chodesh, and the third one you read Hanukkah. You read the piece of Hanukkah. And it can also occur Rosh Chodesh Odor. On an ordinary year, not a leap year, but an ordinary year, Rosh Chodesh Odor can come out also on Shabbos. So then you read Parsha Shkolim in the third Sifrei Torah, in the second Sefer Torah Rosh Chodesh, and the first Sefer Torah Parsha Shavua. So that's what Rabbi Yitzchok Nafche. And the Gemara brings that down in the middle of a long discussion about what's done on Parsha Shkolim, and tries to bring a proof from that towards what the Gemara is discussing. However, from that we learned that there can be a certain Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh, or actually 2 of them, where we can take out 3 Sifrei Torah. That's what he said. However, the Rebbe observes that there's a third possibility, and the third possibility is that Rosh Chodesh Nisan can also occur on Shabbos. And if Rosh Chodesh Nisan occurs on Shabbos, then you take out 3 Sifrei Torah, just like. And so the Rebbe in the footnotes talks, why doesn't Rabbi Yitzchok Nafche, why doesn't he mention Rosh Chodesh Nisan, only Teves? Maybe he mentions Oda also. So the Rebbe says that he relies on the fact that he's mentioned 2 possibilities, and he relies on the fact that you'll understand for sure that if ever any Shabbos comes out, Rosh Chodesh, on Rosh Chodesh falls out on Shabbos, then you'll understand that you can take out 3 Sifrei Torah if it has some special inyan over time. And so Rosh Chodesh Nisan has a special inyan. Dainu parsha HaChodesh. So since it has a special inyan, whenever there's a special inyan and Rosh Chodesh falls out on Shabbos, then you got 3 Sifrei Torah. That's how the Gemara gets onto it. So the rabbi says there can be either kasher, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, Teves, Oya Ordo, Chal v'Shabbos, but all of them have special inyanim. Then moitzim shloisha sifrei Torah, pam noisefes, apart from Simchas Torah. Maila miyuchedes, specifius, that he called a very individual and special advantage, yeshna b'Shabbos zu, in the Shabbos where the Rebbe was then Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and we're on the way to that. Ba kol shloisha hakriyos basforim kashurim zeh lezer. The Rebbe says that if we take Teves, for example, and Rosh Chodesh Teves comes out on Shabbos, then the parsha Shavua and Rosh Chodesh and Chanukah may not have, like how they call it, a common factor to each of them, which unites them all together. They might have one inyan in the parsha Shavua. Rosh Chodesh talks about something else. Chanukah is another inyan. Yeah. But he said, when it happens the way we have, the Hainu that Rosh Chodesh Nisan falls out on Shabbos, then all the 3 things that are read in the 3 Sifrei Torah all have a common thing that unites them together. So let's see what that is. He said, "Well, parshas HaChodesh, that's
my chair."
I mean, I'm always happy if people fall off their chairs, but you have to be careful.
He was amazed.
Kriya HaShlishis, that's the 3rd reading. Nema Atzivui Lakadesh es Rosh Chodesh Nisan. There's a special thing that you have to make Rosh Chodesh Nisan a very special day, and it becomes the beginning of the whole year. Could we count the months from Nisan? Akriya Hashniya Medaber Seidesh Rosh Chodesh. That's the actual din of Rosh Chodesh itself. The parsha Vayikra, what it happens that we're also reading Vayikra. Not because it's Rosh Chodesh, but it just so happens. And he said, parsha Vayikra, Hakriya Harishoino, Nemra Rosh Chodesh Nisan. That was said to Moshe Rabbeinu on Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Now that needs a bit of calculation. How do we know that the parsha Vayikra was said on Rosh Chodesh Nisan? Because it's written at the end of last week's parsha that they stood up the Mishkan. Mm-hmm. They stood up the Mishkan permanently. And there was a honor, Hashem covered the whole Mishkan, and Moshe wasn't able to go in. And then we start immediately the next book or Sefer says, Vayikra el Moshe, that Hashem called Moshe. So there's no reason to assume that wasn't on the same day. That was also, because it mentions the fact that he was waiting outside the Mishkan, wanting to go in, and Hashem called him to come in. So the Rebbe says, the Mishkan was put up permanently on Rosh Chodesh Nisan because for 7 days Moshe put it up and took it down, the 7 Yemei HaMiluim. Moshe erected and directed the Mishkan every day, or took it down every day. But on Rosh Chodesh Nisan he put it up, and then it became, until they would be told by Hashem that they have to travel, it became permanent, the Mishkan. So that's what's written at the end of Pashkudei. Moshe Rabbeinu is still at the Mishkan. It's Rosh Chodesh Nisan, as Rashi brings over there, and all of a sudden the whole Shekhinah comes down and dwells in the Mishkan. Moshe Rabbeinu is standing on the outside, and he would like to come in. So the Rebbe says there's no reason to assume that that's not at the same moment. That's Rosh Chodesh Nisan. The malchut is that Rosh Chodesh Nisan an absolutely amazing day, because it's brought down in the Medrash Seder Hayom, not Seder Hayom, what's it called? I've forgotten. Seder Olam. So the Medrash Seder Olam is brought down that there were 10 other great things happened on Rosh Chodesh Nisan. I'm not going to all that, but Rosh Chodesh Nisan is an amazingly great day. It's also the first day that the Mishkan was put up permanently. Now you've got another thing that happened on Rosh Chodesh, and the whole thing with the Bnei Aaron and everything, all happened on Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Now you've got another great thing, that the calling to Moshe to come into the Mishkan, which is the first pasuk in this parsha, was also Rosh Chodesh Nisan. When all three of them are read together, then they're all talking about Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Isn't that amazing? You wouldn't have necessarily noticed that. You might not have chapped that, but the Rebbe is unbelievable why chaps all of these in Yonah. They have a common linking factor together. Avamela said the Rebbe, follows Lefizeh, Nimtza, Shakol HaKriyos, B'Shleishas Asforim, Kashurim LaParsha, Rosh Chodesh, and not only Stam Rosh Chodesh, but Rosh Chodesh Nisan. They're all linked together by a common thread. Mikol Dova Ba'ilam tells us the Rebbe, Chorik Lumaid Keitad Lisnahig Ba'vedas Hashem. As one from the Baal Shem Tov, that everything that happens to you, you have to learn something in Avedas Hashem. How much more so from something very unusual, very rare, which occurs in the Beis HaKnesset, on Shabbos and on Rosh Chodesh and on all the parsha Chodesh and all the Inyanim. How much more so do we have to learn from that a special instruction in Avedas Hashem? We have to learn a special instruction. So ask yourself the question, what can we learn from this amazing common thread that there are in all the three Kriyas in the three Sifrei Torah? And therefore he says, Mikol Dova Ba'ilam, Chorik Lumaid Keitad Lisnag Ba'vedas Hashem. Ubafrat Me'inen Kol Kach Merkozi V'choshu K'moi Hoitzoes Shleisha Sifrei Torah. But here we see an amazing factor that was very common. Those of us who had the schus Hashem to visit the Rebbe many times and to actually be there and see how the whole conduct of the Rebbe was. The Rebbe made a tremendous Indian out of what other people might just sort of think, well, it's a bit unusual, it's great, but that's the halakha and that's the way we do it. Taking out three Sifrei Torah, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, most people would say, well, it's a bit unusual, but that's taking out three Sifrei Torah, got three special things to read, and so we take out three Sifrei Torah. So the Rebbe said, no, you're taking out three Sifrei Torah. What does that mean? And it's unusual, and later he's going to say that the actual taking out of a Sefer Torah out of the ark is a very, very big in. He's going to just whenever you're in shul and you see them take out a Sefer Torah, you should go out through the roof. With his pilots at the Goydel Ha'inin, that's happening. That's what the Rebbe says later. So we see here there is three Sifrei Torah, but that must teach us a revolutionary instruction in Avedas Hashem.
Wow.
You follow?
Yeah.
Philip Plus. The Rebbe saw in every little detail of Yiddishkeit, amazing magnifying inyanim that changed people's lives. Just from a small diuk, they take out three Sefer Torah. Most people go home and eat shalom, and they sort of, so I took out three Sefer Torah, very nice. Okay, so the Rebbe says, what is this? Kedei lahovin heitiv. In order to understand very well this es mashmois oitzoa shleisha sifrei Torah b'Shabbat zu. We've got to understand this very profoundly. What is the meaning and the significance of the whole taking out of 3 sifrei Torah b'Shabbat zu, Shabbos Rosh Chodesh Nisan? And that's how it's going to be by us also. Yesh Torah lahovin heitev es mashmois oitzoa shleisha sifrei Torah b'Simchas Torah. Oh, we got one time when it happens every year, and it happens permanently, but it's only once a year. So the Rebbe said, it's brought down in the Kutei Torah from the Alter Rebbe, that he talks about the taking out the sifrei Torah on Simchas Torah, and he also mentions B'chal, the whole inyan of Simchas Torah, and he uses the expression about Simchas Torah, what we use about Yom Kippur, and it's brought down in the Pesukim about Simchas Torah in parsha Emoyer, and also in the Nevi'im, achas b'shana, one time in a whole year. Yom Kippur is only one time a year, and the going of the Kohen Gadol into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the way he did, was achas b'shana, one and only time. So the Rebbe said, he could have said Pam Yechida b'shana, he could have said Bilti Ragil b'shana. So what's if it's achas b'shana? So the Rebbe says that achas is nakeva, how do you call it? That means that you've got to be a makabel, that you're a very special makabel, and this, how do you become a mashpia? It's through the fact that you're first of all a makabel. If you're makabel from somebody, then you can be a mashpia after. So the Rebbe said that day affects the whole year. Why does it affect the whole year? Because it's a makabel. First of all, it's a makabel, then it's able to give over to the whole year. So he said the same with Simchas Torah, and very, very much so. Simchas Torah is a day that is mashpia on the whole year. So he said the fact that 3 sifrei Torah are taken out on Simchas Torah, which is achas b'shana, that means that must have an effect on the whole year. So there must be some very special teaching in the taking out of a Sefer Torah on Simchas Torah, 3 sifrei Torah on Simchas Torah. So he said, what is that? And he said, Validei seh nuchal lahovin es mashmois shleishes sifrei Torah b'Shabbos zu, meaning the Shabbos of Rosh Chodesh Nisan. So the Rebbe said, v'zeis aleinu l'da'at. We have to know shegam advarim shekoirim pam b'shana. A few things that happen only once a year, oitzoa shleishes sifrei Torah b'Simchas Torah, for example, melamdim ke'itad lisnag b'meshek kol hashana. They teach us how you have to act the whole year. In other words, the fact that something happens once a year, according to Torah, is not just a very unusual incident, and everybody remembers it sentimentally that, we had a big thing like that on Simchas Torah. That's not the pshat. The fact that something happens once a year, that means that it must have some very special significance within it, and that's why it only happens once a year. In other words, it's so rare that it can only happen, as it were, once a year. So that means it must contain in itself a very, very powerful and special message which affects the whole year. So the Rebbe says the fact that we take out 3 sifrei Torah on Simchas Torah can be in certain years the only time that happened. Yeah, malamdim keitzel lisnav b'meshek kol hashana, va'afilu dvarim shekoilim pam b'kama shonim. Yeah, well, it doesn't necessarily happen every year in other Shabbos, apart from Simchas Torah. Kohitzoa shleisha sifrei Torah b'Shabbos Rosh Chodesh Nisan, gam hei malamdim al kol hashonim kulam. So here you got a case that it could happen maybe once only in several years. If it happens only once in several years, there must be something very unusual. In Torah, something which is very unusual means that it has immense power to teach you for a long time. Until next time round, you've got to, fill up your battery from that very rare message, which is going to last you till it happens next time. That's what the Rebbe's, that's his implication. So the Rebbe, we're still got to get down to business. What is actually what we're going to look for? In the meantime, we're making a very rare build-up. So he says, Mahu be'etzem harayon atamun b'kach shemoitziim shleisha sifrei Torah. So the Rebbe said, we have to understand what is the inner message which is hidden inside this. We take out 3 sifrei Torah. What's it all about? So he says, Hova nizbainen b'hoitzoah sefer Torah. In order to understand 3 sifrei Torah, we first of all have to understand 1 sefer Torah. In other words, taking out 1 sefer Torah is also a very rare thing. And if you take out 3, then that's going to be triple the power. So the Rebbe says like this: Kasher moitziim sefer Torah. Then oimrim kol hakahal is a posik. It's written. Vayi ben Tzoya ha'orein. Vayema Moshe kuma Hashem v'yofuto oyevecho v'yonusu misanecho miponecho. That's the posik that we say. When they opened the Oren before we take out the Sefer Torah, which means that when the Oren began traveling, after they took down the Mishkan and they would move, then Vayema Moshe used to say in front of everybody, Kuma Hashem, literally Hashem, stand up and he could take charge of the whole situation. V'yofuto oyevelcho, and all your enemies should be spread around, how do you call it? Dispersed. Spread to the wind. And all those who cause hatred towards you, they should be driven into flee, how do you call it? Flee and into retreat. So the Rebbe said, Posek zeh nechshav leitim gam b'sefer b'fnei atzmo. That this posik is sometimes considered like a sefer Torah all the time. Now, what is that? What does the Rebbe mean with that? There's a Gemara in Masechta Shabbos, right near the end of Masechta Shabbos, and the Gemara says over there that there are really 7 sifrei Torah. Yeah, 7 sifrei Torah. So, and the Gemara says, Chamisha Yodana, shiur lo Yodana, we know 5 of it. Where's 7? So the Gemara says that if you look in parsha Baloischa, where this posik occurred, what Moshe says when the Aaron gets going, there's 2 like nuns, they call it upside down. Well, not upside down, but reverse nuns at the beginning of the posik and at the end. So the Gemara says, what's that for? That's to separate it off and give it the chashivas of a sefer b'fnei atzmai. Now in the Torah, Rashi learns another pshat. Rashi says it's got to do with lahavdil bein puranas, lapuranas. We won't go into that right now. Rashi gives another pshat. But the Gemara over there is of the opinion that those 2 nuns are like a fence, and Vayi ben Tzoya is a sefer Torah all the time. As if Cain, so you get 3 sifrei Torah, then you give it Bamidbar, but Bamidbar he goes down to Vayi ben Tzoya. So that's 4. And then Vayi ben Tzoya is 1. That's 5. And then from Vayi ben Tzoya to the end of Bamidbar is another sefer. That's 6. And then Dvarim is 7. So you get all together Shiva sifrei Torah. You follow? Mm-hmm. And there's a pasuk. Amotei Chatzoveo, Amotei Shivo, that's a posik. But the Gemara learns out that really the Torah is divided up into 7 books, or 7 great sections. Yeah, very amazing. So the Rebbe said, Kundla, that this posik that we say when we open the Oren, that is in effect a sefer Torah all on its own right. It's a very powerful posik. It's reckoned as a. So practically speaking, we don't act that way. We read in 5 cents a return, and we're happy with 5. But nonetheless, if you consider it in detail, then you got 7 sifrei Torah. Okay, so therefore the Rebbe says that makes that pasuk very, very special. Okay, it's a thing that Moshe Rabbeinu said, and it's got the chashivah of Sefer Torah on its own right. So we were still building up everything, but what is the meaning of all this? So he says, Mashma is a pasuk. What does Moshe Rabbeinu mean? Shebekol zman v'chol Yehudi yesh es Moshe Rabbeinu haproti shaloi. Oh, when we say Moshe Rabbeinu, we're not just talking that Vayem Moshe. We're talking that every year should say this. Every year should be so involved that he should say this pasuk like as if he was saying it. In other words, you've got to say Kuma Hashem v'yafutu oyevecha. You've got to mean it just like Moshe Rabbeinu did, and you've got to see yourself as having power to affect the world, just like Moshe Rabbeinu had the power to affect the world.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, now you didn't fall off your chair.
Wow, I said wow. It was like, a shliach in Oregon told me each one of us has a piece of Mashiach inside of us, and it's up to each one of us to develop that piece of Mashiach. It says Moshe Rabbeinu. It's like parallel to what you just said. It just hit me.
Hey, we'll get to that also.
Okay. Amen.
We're moving in that direction of a Heinachanami. And now the situation is such that we see that something's got to take over, something's got to happen, and that's Moshe Rabbeinu. It's like Yosef just mentioned, Melech HaMashiach. It's only Melech HaMashiach can stop this unbelievable chaos which is costing Jewish lives. It's just unbelievable chaos, and people are dying every couple of days. One in time. We've got to realize that each Yid, when the Sefer Torah is open, when the Oren is open, each person has the power to be like Moshe Rabbeinu, and he has the power to say, Kumaha Hashem Yafutu Ayevecha. And today was Zion Order. What could be better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Today was Zion Order. And here the Rebbe says that everybody has Moshe Rabbeinu inside him. And where did he get that from? מאיפה הוא לקח את זה?
Tanya.
יופי. איפה?
זה הרב זוכר.
פרק מ"ב. פרק מ"ב. In Tanya, the author of it says Mefurish that everybody has a nitzutz of Moshe Rabbeinu.
everybody?
Yeah, everybody. The author of it.
It's a little bit.
Mefurish.
Yeah.
In Tanya, in Perek Mem. He built a whole big thing about it.
Really, yeah.
Mela said, the Rebbe, here you are, you're a Yid, you have the ability to say this pasuk. So, yes, it calls man, v'chol Yehudi, Yeshas HaMoshe Rabbeinu, HaPrati Shaloi, Sha'ima, U'ma'oirer, he says, and he wakes up, and he also does. Yes, She'iyeh Hoisofa, V'chol Hinyone Kedusha. He wants that everything good and everything holy should flower and bloom. Kuma, that's the implication of the words Kuma Hashem. He said, Bittul Kol Dovara, Amafriya Lavetus Hashem. And he wants there should be the bittul of all evil things, but they disturb us from serving Hashem. And that's the Yofucho Eyevecha Yanusa Misonecho. They should all run and flee. So he said, Be'etem, V'yitzor Sefer Torah, Yesh Bo Nasinas Koyach, L'Klolos Avedus Hashem. The Rebbe said that's got to do with two general demands that are made of every Yid by Al-Pi Torah. Those are called Asay Toiv, Sur Mirah, Asay Toiv. Turn away from the evil and do the good. So the Kuma Hashem, that's the doing good. Yonusu, Ponelcha, but that's the Ra, that the Ra should be driven away. Asay Toiv, Asume, Ra. It's interesting that here he puts the Asay Toiv before the turning away from the evil. But even the pasuk in Tilim, it's written the other way around. Asume Ra, Asay Toiv. So there can be a case made for both statements. This is very, once again, typical of the Rebbe's whole approach, being that this is Moshe Rabbeinu talking, and we know who the real Moshe Rabbeinu is. So the real Moshe Rabbeinu says, first of all, Kuma Hashem, first of all, positivity. Only positivity. And if you bring a lot of positivity into the world, then it'll be much easier to drive away the evil. And so therefore he puts it the other way around. First of all, Kuma Hashem, and then afterwards, Yofutu Oyavecha.
Wow.
Well, I notice everybody a big Bali Moichin, sort of.
No, I said wow again, but you
So,
just like to ignore
we
me.
said that's a Messinas Koyach for the Klolos of Vedas Hashem. That gives you power for everything in Vedas Hashem. Now I just want to mention one thing now, is very important, that the Rebbe mentions in a footnote about this whole thing. And he says, brought down in certain great Sforim, and it's mashma, can anybody remember that in the sanctuary, in the desert particularly, alongside the Orin, can anybody remember what there was?
It was inside there.
Another set of Luca.
Yeah,
Another set.
no, Sefer Torah.
Shivrei Luchot.
That's right, according to one opinion in Baba Basra, there was a Sefer Torah.
Shivrei Luchot. Shivrei Luchot.
Shivrei Luchos were inside, according to most opinions. They were inside the Ark. You were talking about something that sat alongside the Ark.
צנצנת המן.
Oh,
צנצנת המן.
Tzenas Haman.
גם מטה הארון.
Tzenas Haman. The jar that had man inside. That sat alongside.
How big a jar was that? Was that like this, or was it big?
It was a jar enough to hold what each person used to get each day.
Oh, one person's
Maloi
weight.
43 ביצים בערך.
hoim.
Yeah, 43 eggs.
Yeah, maloi hoim aman. So,
This much.
when you think of it,
זה הכל.
enough man was only one maloi hoim. It's not very much. It's about, Rashi said it's about 43 eggs. It's about the size of 43
It's the
eggs.
size of a challah for taking a chavrashat challah.
Yeah. It's not tremendously big, but it's not just completely
that's 43
nothing.
eggs.
However,
That's
it's
43.
written in certain Sforim
לא.
that the man, and
else
the
is 43
Tzenas
eggs?
Haman, was a skula for all Yidden, that they should have panos.
עומר.
It was a skula
All right.
for panos. So, when Moshe Rabbeinu said, "Vayi bin tsoya ha'orein," so the Oren's going to travel. What they do with it in Tzenas Haman? Yeah, they just left it sitting there.
No.
Chas v'sholem. So when the Oren started moving under its beautiful cover, the Tzenas Haman was together with it.
It moved with it.
Yeah, it was together with it. And the Rebbe said, from that we can understand that if you are devoted to Torah and you give yourself over, to learning Torah, then Hashem will look after your panos. He will look after your panos. And you shouldn't worry that one way or another Hashem's going to look after you if you look after your inyonim in Torah. That's what he brings. And he brings there an amazing statement. It's well known that the Rebbe Marash made a statement about the fact that ever since the Churban Beis HaMikdash, all Yidden have panosa like man. So, I looked it up in the source. It's in a minor from the Rebbe Rashab that he quotes that he heard from his father. So what did he hear? It's a little bit different than what the world thinks. The Rebbe Marash said to the Rebbe Rashab that most Yidden, even when they make a kli for panasa, they don't earn enough to cover all their expenses. That's what he said to Rabbi Marash. So, Lafise, all the Eden should be bankrupt. Yeah, there should be a huge, how do you call it, people of bankrupt tears. You follow? So he said, now what does the Abish to do? The Abish looks after him like the man, he takes care of him. And money just happens to fall in or come in one way or another, and Hashem carries them further. Yeah, and that is the shiur, the man, even bezman hazeh. That the Rebbe Hashem said that the man comes down even nowadays.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said to the Rebbe Hashem, that nowadays even the man comes down. And the proof of that is that if you were left up to your own taste, no way. The fact that Baruch Hashem, the whole world's not full of bankrupt tears, hidden is a sign that the man still comes down nowadays. And I think if anybody examines his life, he will realize that that's exactly.
Wow.
You will realize that that's exactly what happens. So it's very amazing. I had to mention that because they don't write that here b'fneim, because the Rebbe writes it in a footnote. But the Rebbe said it's chashuv that people should know it, and it's important, very important. So he said, "Ka'is novin heitev." Now we'll understand very clearly. It's a ma'ila hamiyuchedes shebo hitzos shleisha svarim. The Rebbe is still very taken with the slaves. Now we'll understand. Yeah, the great special advantage. He said, "Mashmon sadovahu sheyeshno nasinas koyach la'avidas Hashem sur mira v'asei toiv even shel chazoka." Oh, he said, "Kiyadua shleisha piyomim." Mahave chazoka, yeah, b'choizek u'b'teika. At the Gemara says in Bab Matzia, right near the end, at the Gemara says the difference between Rebbe and Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, whether 2 pamim have chazoka or 3 pamim have chazoka. Rebbe, he says pamayim is already a chazoka, and Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, he says 3 pamim. And we pass on that way, that's the way the halach is b'poel, that if something happens 3 times, undisturbedly 3 times, then we can assume that has become a permanent situation until it will be uprooted al pi halacha. We consider that being the situation. And the Gemara brings a dogma over there. Let's say that a person purchased from somebody else a piece of land. Why did he purchase a piece? He wanted to sow it. It should grow. And every time he sows it, it doesn't produce any. He sowed 1 time and 2 times, and nothing happened. So if it happens a 3rd time that way, then Rebbe says that you can really say you want to give it back. You want to be mevatel the transaction, and Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says that happen a 4th time. It has to begin happening a 4th time, 3 full times, and then you can give back the transaction. You follow? And just because in these meetings we tend to be a little bit informal, so I want to tell you an amazing story that happened when I get to that difference of opinion between Rebbe and Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. You know that in Tovrei Samavo, the Rebbe Rashab came out into the big in Pesach, Achron Shel Pesach. He came out into the big hall where the Bochari made, and in those days they used to make Pesach in the yeshiva, and so they had this big hall, all Pesach, all special. The Rebbe came out and he ate Sudas HaMashiach with the Bochari. Of the yeshiva, and he said a very amazing mimer, very unbelievable mimer, and everybody was tremendously thrilled with this whole weiner, and that's how we know the minhag of the 4 cases, by the way. And the Rebbe said we have to make that a thing for all Yidden. The Rebbe, Mashiach. So the next year, the Rebbe Rashab also came out. He came out and he said, and then on Tofrei Samachet, they wanted they just assumed that the river was but they didn't hear, and the river didn't say he was going to come out. So they went in a special, how do you call it, Mishlachet. The Mashpiyim and a row, and some of the Bochim all got together, and they asked permission, and they spoke to the Rebbe, and they said that they want to invite him to come this year also to the Suda Mashiach. So the Rebbe thought for a minute. He said, "If I come this year, it'll already be a chazaka." You follow? So one of the Bochrim, I happen to know who it was. He was a very brilliant person. He said, he piped up and he said, "Rebbe," he said, "according to Rebbe, it's already a chazaka." He said, "According to Rebbe and Shimon Gamliel, not." He said, "According to Rebbe, it's already a chazaka." So they said the Rebbe thought for a minute, and then he smiled. The Rebbe was very impressed. He was very taken with that. And he said, "Oy Basoy, it's coming." He said, "It's not coming out." And he came another couple of years, and then from Tzadei Tzadim, it didn't continue, but the Rebbe wasn't upset anymore. It was already chazak. According to Rebbe, it was already chazak. So that's what the Rebbe means. When you take out 3 Sifrei Torah, you got this unbelievable giving of power of Asay Toim and Sumira in the clothes of Veda 3 times down. Well, that gives it a Einaf and a Chazok. I'm not taking it. We have that this year. We got it. Shabbos Rosh Chodesh Nisan is on Shabbos this year. Yeah. And said the Rebbe, that's an amazing chizuk, for everybody.
Amen.
So, here we go. And the, how do they say it? The soup gets thicker. It's getting more. So the Rebbe says, "Yeshnam shnei efshoriyos kloliyos lohitzor shloisha sifrei Torah." So the Rebbe said, "Chizuk v'koyach v'avedus Hashem." So the Rebbe said, there's 2 possibilities, 2 ways that can occur in this big chizuk in Torah Hashem, in avedus Hashem. He said, "Chizuk v'nesinas koyach v'avedus Hashem haragilo v'atmidiyah sheyeshna b'kol zman." The type of service Hashem that we do the whole time, and it's there the whole year, that also needs a chizuk, because every now and then you get a little bit sort of, as you need chizuk and strengthening. So that's one possibility. So the Rebbe says, there's yesh, and that is b'shvil zeh moitzim shloisha sifrei Torah b'simchas Torah, and that's got to do with the 3 sifrei Torah permanent, which are on simchas Torah. Or he said, yesh noi chizuk noisa. However, there's an extra chizuk, sheni, a second one, b'toisef b'hoisofer alavedus Hashem shebekol hashana. Something unusual and an addition to what you do the whole year. Or b'shvil zeh moitzim shloisha sifrei Torah b'rosh chodesh Nisan shechal b'Shabbat. To add this unusual taste and this extra, very special thing, which by the way becomes a chazal also, we have the 3 Sifrei Torah of Shabbos Rosh Chodesh Nisan. So he said, "Ahevdel shel b'nei," this is mamish absolutely bomba. The Rebbe said, what is the difference between them? "Ahevdel shel b'nei yamu v'hetem l'kriyas haTorah b'shloisha hasfarim." He said, if we look carefully in what we read in each of the 3 Sfarim, then we'll be able to work out what's the difference. He said, "B'rosh Chodesh Nisan, shechal b'Shabbos, ko'irim b'Torah al Rosh Chodesh," and also Rosh Chodesh Nisan, Chodesh Hazeh Lochem, which is Rosh Chodesh Parsha Chodesh. He said, "B'rosh Chodesh b'simchas Torah, however, ko'irim b'Torah al tchilas haTorah, Bereshis Boro Elokim Eisa Shomayim Veisa Oreth." Can anybody use his foresight? What is Bereshis Boro Eisa Shomayim Veisa Oreth? What's that talking about?
בריאת העולם.
The state of teva ha'olam. That's teva ha'olam. Bereshit bara, the shamayim va'oretz, that's ha'olam kamo shu nira, the way it appears according to teva. However, what is a chodesh hazeh lochem roish kadoshim? That when the Yidden were going out of Mitzrayim, then Nisan became the beginning of the year. What is special about Nisan? Nisan is from Rosh Nisim, that the whole Chodesh Nisan is a miraculous time. A time of Nisim, Yetzias Mitzrayim, and then there was Kriyas Yamsuf, and all the Inanim which happened in Nisan. It's all from the beginning to the end, it's all Nisim. That's why it's called Nisan. A lot of the great Meforshim say that Nisan itself is from Rosh Nisim. Yeah. So the Rebbe said that when you read in the 3 Sifrei Torah on Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, you're talking about an inyan, what all the 3 Svarim are linked together of Rosh Chodesh and Rosh Chodesh Nisan. But Miyuchad, an inyan from Lamayla Me'ateva, an inyan from Nisim. And therefore Moshe Rabbeinu, when he wanted to go into the tent, he had a special kriya from Hashem. Hashem called him especially. Rashi says it's a kriya shel chibor. What chibor means, like affection, something very special that you feel towards another person. It's not even something definable to yourself. That you're very taken by this person, and that's called chibor. A kaviyachol was a kriya shel chibor. That indicates, and it's not mentioned Hashem's name. It says written by Yikro El Moshe. That's something tremendously high. That's Lamayla Me'ateva. All the 3 Sifrei Torah on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, Shechal Yid, B'Shabbos, they're all talking about Inyanim Shel Nisim and Shel Lamayla Me'ateva. So there was the Rebbe on Simchas Torah, we read Bereshit bara. Chachmeinu zel shoelim ma hatam sheniftacha Torah bebereshit v'loi b'chodesh hazeh lochem. שהוא המצווה הראשונה שנצטווה בו ישראל, כלשונו. Rashi brings it down. Rashi brings down that it's put down in the Medrash, Rabbi, at a question, why didn't we begin the Torah from HaChodesh Hazeh? Why? Because HaChodesh Hazeh is the first mitzvah that Yidden were commanded. And the whole Torah is a thing of mitzvahs, to teach us what we have to do. Start off from malchut. That's the question. Now, says the Gemara, we wanted to tell the world the koyach of Hashem and to create the world and so on and so on. So we see then that there's a question on the part of our sages. Why didn't we start off with Chodesh Hashem? And they tell us the answer. Sha'Torah yehitchila b'bereshit. Kedei lalamed shekol ha'oret shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yeah, they wanted to tell us a cloud that the whole world belongs to Hashem. That's something you have to know, and everybody's got to know. Hu bara, hu wekly laset lanu es Eretz Yisrael. He created the whole world, and he decided at the beginning Eretz Yisrael would be in the hands of the Canaanites, and then afterwards he would take it away from them and give it to her. So Kuntais, Ubamela EFshar litoin shebnei Yisrael lochu et ha'oretz b'koyach hazroya. So you can't say that Yidden took the Eretz Yisrael by gangsterism, chas v'sholem. It was promised to them by the Eibusher right from the beginning of the creation. Ubamela ro'im mikan sha'kriya sheberosh chodesh Nisan ha'chodesh hazeh lachem masamo es ha'mitzvah. Im Kain, Rashi says that's the first mitzvah that we were commanded. So he said that's a hanhoga anisias ubeklal chodesh Nisan nikar chodesh shel geula. It's well known, our sages teach us in the Midrash that Nisan is called the chodesh geula. Shemesamo es geula mi'anoga zateva la'anoga nisiyah. So that means it wasn't called Chodesh HaGeula. We go out and we are redeemed from being enslaved to nature, and we become higher than nature through the infinite. Well, that's the infinite. So I ask myself the question, What's that got to do with the mitzvahs? Our sages say that that's connected with the mitzvahs. And if you look at mitzvahs, then the mitzvahs have to do with the situation of the world. You have to have, you got to have flour and that to make a challah. You got to have to make matzahs. Everything is in the world. Everything, the maisa and truma and all these things are all from crops. Everything's got to do with the world. Tefillin is made out of cloth. It's all got to do with in the world. So why is it that our sages say that the first mitzvah that was commanded to Yidden is Tavkir in Rosh Chodesh Nisan? That's Nisim and that's the world. So the Rebbe is going to say that the whole purpose of Nisim is to bring them into the world. You're not given a nez in order that you should be, flying around in the air. You're given a nez in order to connect that with the anhoga of the world, so that Yidden act in the world the way they're supposed to, but they act in a way that doesn't make sense. And it's all be'etzem nisim, even though they connected with the world. Mashenkin, B'tishrei, we go according to the anhoga tiviyah, and that's the whole thing of a parashas bora being the sikum of the whole Chodesh Tishrei. Is Simchas Torah. We sum up the whole thing by starting all over again. Bereshis Bora, we're concerned he was renewing the union of Teva. Of in Rosh Chodesh Nisim, we're not only bringing Nisim into the world, but we're uniting the Nisim and the mitzvahs, which are the Teva of the world, together. Now that's a very deep idea, because everybody is happy with the fact that Nisan is the time for Nisim. But the whole purpose of those nisim is to bring them and to connect them into the world. That's why Rashi brings at the beginning that our sages asked that this is the first mitzvah. Why? Because the whole purpose is to unite the Lamayla Me'ateva with the mitzvahs, what they have to do with the world. Okay. So that's what he says now. Ro'im mikan she'akriya she'b'chodesh nisan she'b'rosh chodesh nisan ha'chodesh hazeh lochem Masamo es a mitzvah, es anhoga hanisiyas. Both. It's Masamo the mitzvahs and also the anhoga hanisiyas. B'klal chodesh nisan nigra chodesh algir ula shemasamo gam geula me'anhoga zateva l'anhoga nisiyas. However, Simchas Torah misamelas es anhoga hativiyas. Well, that's in the Bereshis Bora Elokim. The Hanoga Tiviyas means the Hanoga, the conduct of the world according to nature. Gam Kol Chodesh Tishrei, the whole of Chodesh Tishrei is Kashur Hanoga Tiviyas. Brias Oilam, Rosh Hashanah is even from Brias Oilam, and all that's all got to do with the world. Besof Chagei Tishrei Simchas Torah Koirim Moedes Bria of Shamayim v'Oretz, but that's also the nature of the Torah. He said, but so Gam Achilak, that's the difference. The three Sifrei Torah on Simchas Torah, they got to do with the perfection of the Hanhoga Tiviyas. Or on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, when we read in the Torah, and Rashi already mentioned at the beginning of the Torah, this is the first mitzvah, and that's how the Torah should have started. And the only reason we started with the Teva was to make sure that everybody knew who the world really belonged to. Is, however, that's a inyan from Hanhoga Nisiyas, and the whole inyan is to connect that with a mitzvah to bring it into the world. V'zeu gam achilik beinu itzoet, shloisha sforim b'simchas Torah, chizak v'nasinas koyach laveda hativiyah. We should serve Hashem through the way of nature, hatmidiyas, but that's our general ongoing avodah. Ve'ilo v'Shabbos Rosh Chodesh Nisan nasa chizuk v'nasinas koyach lavoida anisiyah, to things of lamayla me'ateva altogether. V'yisof ala seder rogio. It's an addition to the ordinary seder. And like we pointed out, the Rebbe makes that point in the coming section, which mitzad koyach we're not going to be able to learn right now, that the whole point is to make the Hanoga Nisiyas, to make the conduct of Nisim come into the world, and that's through the mitzvah. That's why the mitzvah is very important here. To get it down Hoganitzias, there has to be a mitzvah, and that brings it down into the world, and that's what's going to bring Moshiach taking me out now.
Amen.
And the Rebbe goes on to say a lot of other inyanim, and he considers another whole 2 or 3 full pages of tremendously detailed material. And that's the story, guys.
Wow. Shkoyach.
So therefore the Rebbe says that on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, since it's on Hogan Nisiyas, and everything is beyond Teva, you have to make some sort of decision to go out of your Hagbolos, to go out of your limitations. And he said one of the best ways to do that is decide to help other people. Decide to help other people and give away your time and your money for other people's benefit. But that's the Indian of Kimcha de Pischa and the whole thing. You got to get into an organization. I say, I don't have any money. If you'll give, then Hashem will give you a lot more back, and you don't have to worry. That's what he says. And then he goes on to say that the ikanes of all the nisim is Moshiach, and we have to have the nis of Moshiach taking me out now through the schus of the Shloisha Sifrei Torah.
L'chaim lebracha. Are we to keep? Okay, if I keep this? All right to keep this?
Sure.
Okay, so
I might want to be your shliach to take this to another place where they don't have enough to see this.
That's a terrible word. I'm glad I took the better again.
קודם כל תכבה את ה...
You tell me that in English? Do you unplug the button?
no comprende, yeah.
Huh? Are we on a l'chaim?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
כן, תכבה. Okay, leave it here.
Well, we're gonna probably put plastic on here.
You know what? Rabbi Marcel left 2 plastic things, but it looks like somebody ate during Mincha Mariv or something?
Yes, someone wrapped it up and